Om Hari Om Hari Om. Hello, my friends. There is that age-old picture, the half glass full. Either we appreciate the half that is full, or we are annoyed about the half that is not full. Whatever we are doing, wherever we are, whatever our situation, it always could be better. It always could be more to our liking. There are always things that are not so pleasant, no matter where we are, no matter what we are doing. And we can either go through our life always annoyed about whatever is not happening the way we want to, or we can learn to appreciate whatever is there. Have a sense of gratitude for all we have. It changes so totally our quality, how we are spending our time. If we can appreciate all the goodies that are there, it helps us to relax. If we are always annoyed about whatever is not there, we are always in tension. And as long as we are keeping up the tensions, it's very difficult to connect with the essence. We may sometimes make an effort for a moment, create attention consciously to connect, but then we let go. If we basically learn just to celebrate life, to be just happy, to be alive, to learn to relish every breath that we can take, then there is such another base there to our daily existence. It's so much easier to relax, and in that relaxation, it's so much easier to consciously connect with the essence. Some have many things, some have little things. Those with many things are not happier than those with little things. What creates our capacity to be at ease, at peace, is that we are not always worrying about what is not there and I would like it. What creates that possibility that we can connect is that we learn to relax. And if we have basically developed that sense of gratitude, that we exist, that we have what we have, that our circumstances are that we can survive, that we can relax and turn the attention back. If that gratitude for all this is there, it makes it so much easier. If we learn to appreciate the half glass full instead of worrying about the half glass that is not full, it is so much easier to let go, and to just be. Let go and turn the attention back to one's essence, to one's source. That doesn't mean one cannot take steps to improve the external situation. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. Doesn't mean if whatever we have, we should hold on to and simply think that's how it is now for the rest of the life. We can very well improve our situation, go along as the flow goes. But we can do that joyously. We can do that with a sense of gratitude. We can do that happy for our whatever is there, or we can always worry about what is not there. If we learn to be content in our situation, then it's like all we need is to consciously turn the attention in the right direction, consciously turn the attention towards the essence and simply relax in that. And the whole life is different. Instead of getting painfully from one moment to another, from one day to another, from 1 year to another, from one decade to another, we can celebrate life. We can learn to be at ease, at peace, open, innocent. And in that base, in that environment, the experience can unfold. As long as there is always that tension, as long as we are always not in a good mood because things are not the way we like them, then it's so very, very difficult to connect with that which makes the experience possible. When the mind is always preoccupied with things and it turns round and round and round and round, and we don't need to do so. We just can learn to appreciate, to simply be. We can learn to relish every breath that we are taking. We can learn that if we are here now consciously in the present and relax, that there is a sense of fulfillment without much distractions necessary to somehow give us the illusion that we are complete. More and more we become aware that sense of completeness comes out of ourselves. And sometimes times and circumstances are easier, and sometimes they are more difficult. But even there, even in the, even when things seem not to go our way, even when things seem aligned against us, then we can still appreciate whatever we have, whatever the possibilities are there, that we are here, that we are alive, that we can breathe, that we can move. Being aware that our well-being is not dependent on the circumstances. Our sense of completion is not dependent on the circumstances. It's entirely an attitude. It's entirely something we can learn to develop, to see that it is not simply for a few exceptions a possibility to simply be happy, to simply be complete. It is there, the natural state of everybody. If we learn to live like this, then things are so much easier. And even if there are trying confrontations, we can deal with them. They come, we deal with them, they go. And do what is necessary. At the same time, be aware, I am what I am. I am here now. Something cannot, nothing can touch that. Nothing can disturb that. Our mind can be disturbed because the focus is not at the source. Our mind can be disturbed because we think something is not gone right. There is an injustice. I have not been appreciated as I deserve. Or we can simply be aware, no matter what, this treasure cannot be disturbed. The source of joyousness, of sense of fulfillment cannot be disturbed. It is always there. Even if we are not aware of it, it's still there. And so it's better to learn to bring the attention back to that, get rooted in that, leave from that perspective. And if we're living with the circumstances rather in a general sense of gratitude, it is so much easier to come to that condition, to live in that state, to be aware of that aspect that is not affected by anything. One can always look to others and see they have something more, they have something I don't have, oh, I covet it. But even if we had that thing, there would be another thing. There would be three other things. There would be always these things that are not exactly the way I would appreciate it, and we can fret about it, or we can be grateful for whatever there is, and make it easier to connect with the essence, to connect with the source. The more we do that, the more it is so obvious that that sense of well-being that everyone is coveting, everyone wants it. Why? Because it's natural. It's our natural state. We become more and more aware. It is never absent. We don't have to create it. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to work for it. It's always there. Mm. It's something you hear in all the religions. They tell us you have to be grateful, but then it's made into a moral rule in order to be a good devotee. We have to be grateful. It's made into a moral rule. It has nothing to do with that. It's simply if we develop that capacity, our life is bubbling with joyousness. It's so easy to be relaxed. It's so easy to connect. It's so easy to always come back, even if momentarily the tension drifts off. All we have to do is to remember and relax, and we are right here again. Then sometimes spiritual people, when I talk to them and they want to show how positive they are, they try to turn everything into a positive. Say, oh, that is so wonderful, and this is so nice, and they are so wonderful, and it is so artificial. You don't have to falsely pretend that everything is fantastic in manifestation, in society, around the whole world. So many things are not fantastic at all, especially mainly what humans are doing. But we can see that and still retain that positive attitude. Be grateful for whatever there is, for whatever makes it possible for us to live, to breathe, to eat our daily meal. We just have to come back home and live natural. Be natural. Come back to that natural state and that natural joyousness, that natural sense of completion, that natural awareness of being connected with everything, with life, with what makes it possible, will simply be there. Hario, Hario, Hario. All right, my friends, I stopped talking by myself and I'm asking you, is there anyone who would like to come in, say something? You're welcome to do so.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Anton.
It's my friend Oleg.
Hello, Alec.
He want to ask about, are you vegetarian? Are you full vegetarian, vegan, or no? And why?
You want to know whether I am vegetarian? Is that the...
Yes,
Yes, I am vegetarian, but I'm not a vegan.
вегетарианец, но не веган.
And it has come naturally. That at a certain time in my life, simply it didn't feel like I grew up in a place where everybody was eating meat. But then in a certain period, it started to become more and more unpleasant to to eat meat, but still I ate a little. But then when I came to India, I was living in ashrams, and of course we were fully vegetarians there. Then for 12 years, I didn't go back to Switzerland. And then when I made my first visit and was living with the family and with friends, and they all were eating meat, I was eating a little. It didn't feel very good, but still. But then at a certain time, when I came for a visit, it simply didn't go down anymore. So my body simply refused to eat any more meat. So I'm not in the least tempted to eat meat. I think in nature, in the vegetable kingdom, there is everything that our body needs. I can understand that people, especially people who live in very cold climates, they rather eat meat, and also bodies are different. If we can do without it, then we don't have to kill animals. That's another benefit, but it's not simply because of that it's beneficial not to eat meat. Because if we are eating more sattvic stuff, then it's also the mind has the tendency to be less agitated. Now, I know great masters, they were not vegetarians. They had, in spite of that capacity to be connected with reality. So I'm not making it as a doctrine. You should be vegetarian. But since you asked me, that's my story. It simply didn't work anymore. And I'm not regretting any of it. But I never felt I have to give up all dairy products. So I'm not a vegan. That okay? Do you understand English? Is your friend understanding English, Anton?
Yes, I translate him.
You will translate him. Yes.
No, only in Russian. Yeah, I translate already.
Пожалуйста, энергетика яйца, молока, рыбы, которые вы, скорее всего, употребляете, разве не рождает энергию опять грусти, ненависти, злобы, как и народный продукт?
Is energy of eggs and milk born energy of
Яйцо.
something stress, something bad?
No, you just listen mainly to your own body because people are different. And for some people, some things go, and for other people, that doesn't go. So it's not necessary to make a doctrine that is true for everybody. If we are really listening to our body, then we feel. If we are eating stuff and we feel heavy and disturbed, and it's getting more difficult to connect with the subtle, then it's better that we are reducing that or avoiding that. But for some people, certain things, they are perfectly valid to eat and it doesn't disturb. Whereas for others, if they do the same thing, it's a disturbance. So it's a bit individual. And if we are honest, if we simply observe the body, when we eat, how the body reacts, when there is always after that something that disturbs and is heavy and you don't feel right about it, then it's better not to eat those things or eat them in very little quantities. I never felt that milk or milk products were for me disturbing. For a long time, there was very little, simply from the circumstances living in the ashram. Now I'm eating a bit more milk products and I don't feel disturbed. While others say it's no good, or it's not healthy, I don't feel that it's in any way affecting the health of my body in a bad way. So just observe your body, and then you know what is good for you to eat and what helps you to connect with the subtler and what has the tendency to make your mind more gross.
He asked about narcomans. What about
Алкоголь.
alcohol? people know that it is good for them and their body
Для них тело тоже.
like it.
Да.
So what
Потому что
about it?
оправдываем, что ли, получается?
Is it right? They think it is right because I like it, but
Они что
it's
слушают
not
свое
true.
тело?
They listen their body.
I think they listen more to their mind than to their body. It's mainly the mind that wants to get the kick of drinking alcohol. Now, if you are in a cold climate, if you drink a little, I don't think there is big harm in it. If you drink regularly a lot, I think that is really disturbing your connection to the subtle. The mind is easy to fool. So you said they like it, they listen to their body, they like it, but it's not so much the body that likes it, but it's the mind that likes to get a bit dizzy, to get that kick. And the body often is not liking it so much, especially not the next morning when people drink much. Then your body is telling you, hey, that was no good at all. So generally, be very sparingly with such things. If you feel sometimes to drink a little, I don't think there is any harm in it, but I would not recommend you to regularly drink, and especially not regularly in big quantities. Here in this hot climate, it's out of the question. It doesn't do anything good. Although, unfortunately, many now are the local people drinking a lot, and it doesn't do them anything good, neither mentally, nor spiritually, nor physically.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you for a lot.
You're welcome. Shall we leave it at that? Huh? Okay.
He's vegetarian.
He's a vegetarian. Very good.
Yes, for 30 years.
Since 13 years. But are you
I
also,
don't-
are you vegan
30.
also? 30. Yeah. Yeah.
30, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why he asked it.
Anyhow, it's good for you. It's easier to connect with the essence if you are not unnecessarily loading your system with heavy things.
Werner, can I ask about my mental skeleton, emotional skeleton? When I want to go deep inside me, in my senses, my emotional skeleton, mental skeleton, I can't go through it because my body refused my emotions. So, how to get to my emotions?
Through your emotions. I'm not quite clear what you mean with the skeleton, the emotional skeleton. You simply mean your emotions, your emotional makeup.
turtle skeleton is a panzer.
Sorry? What did you say?
Skeleton of turtle. It is a panzer.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see.
Emotional panzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a tortoise. It's not really usually called the skeleton, but anyhow, yes, you think you cannot go through your emotional barrier. Don't fight with your emotions. When you want to be quiet,
What
and
to do with this?
yes, and you want to be quiet, and there come thoughts, and there along with the thoughts come emotions, then don't get into a fight with the emotions. But don't let your attention be dragged into the stories of the emotions. The emotions, they are usually then somehow connecting to stories. Simply turn the attention directly to your experience and let the emotion be there and see how it is affecting your experience right now. What is that emotion doing to you right now, physically, energetically? And usually, along with emotions, there come a lot of tensions. And when you see that you start to get tense physically, energetically, because of the emotion, you just relax physically, relax energetically. And then the emotions, they stay a moment, but then you don't feed them and they simply go away. They stay so long and they remain so long and become a problem because we're getting interested and then feeding them. And with the emotions, we get into stories and get interested and think around and think around. And so they stay and become bigger and bigger. We're feeding our energy into it. But if you accept, okay, there is an emotion coming, you simply turn the attention. Don't get into the stories of it. Simply watch what is this emotion doing to you right now. What is happening physically? What is happening energetically? And learn to relax. And then may the emotion, if you don't fight it, if you fight the emotion and then you do that and stop fighting it for a moment, it may even get stronger, but then you don't feed it anymore. You just watch what it is doing to you right now, what is happening in the body, and relax. And then the emotions all by themselves, they will go away. Then another one comes, you do the same. It comes, it goes, but you become aware you are here. The emotions are moving like a river in front of you. You are sitting at the bank of the river. It doesn't touch you. It simply has a momentary effect on the vehicle, on the body, on the energies. But if you are not getting interested in it, if you are not getting locked into it, or not fighting them, because when we're fighting them, then we are also feeding them. We simply accept, okay, there is an emotion. How it is manifesting, what it is doing, and relax. It comes, it's there a moment, it goes, it doesn't leave a trace. It's not that you have to somehow find a trick to fight your way through an emotional barrier. As long as this psychophysical manifestation is there, there are also emotions, but they are ripples. As if you are not picking them up and feeding our light force into them, they remain small. They come, they go, And the more you see that, the more you observe, the more you are aware there is that aspect totally unaffected, totally not moved by that. Even if the mind wants to go along with the emotions and their stories, there is that one aspect in you that is not touched by them, that is not affected. Bring the attention back to that, and then the emotions are not the problem. Sometimes we forget. You may sit to try to be quiet. Emotions come, and there you go along with them. You go into stories, you feed them, but when you become aware, aha, got me, so what? I just come back and see what is happening right now. Not in some fantasy, but here, now, in my immediate experience, and relax.
But when I do so, I feel my body. There is no anything. It's quiet, and I don't feel anything. But I am alive, and it's like a Shiva, not with Shakti.
I see. It's Shiva without Shakti.
Yes, it's only Shiva. But if I have emotions and I feel it in myself, so like Shakti came to Shiva, so I can be quite natural. But if I see my emotions, uh, they only I become only Shiva without it. So there is no union Shiva and Shakti. What about it?
Yes, Shiva is both. Shiva and Shakti. Both is there. Shiva is also Ardhaneshwar, the one, the half man, half woman. Shiva and Shakti are one. They need not unite, they are already one. This is all symbolic that these are the two aspects, but they are coming from the same source. It may look for some time for the mind like it's a bit dry. If you just go into peace, it may look, there's no juice in it. There's something is missing there. But if you're then not getting restless because of that and somehow try to bring that other aspect in, but dive deeper into it, then you become aware all that juiciness is already there. The more you are capable in that peacefulness, in that Shiva state, to relax in that, to sink deeper in that, the more it will bubble up out of itself. And you become aware the Shakti and the Shiva, they are never separated. Shiva is also Ardhaneshwar, the half man, half woman. The Shakti is always there. This emotional, this emotional thing is giving us the idea of there is an energy, and on a certain level, it's also true, but it's on a external, manifested level. But if you think deeper in that peacefulness, that energy will automatically bubble up more and more and will be one with that peacefulness without having to produce special emotions for that. The more you sink in that peacefulness, the more you go deeper into it, the more it becomes full of joyousness, and not as it looks from the standpoint of the mind in the beginning. For some time it may look, ooh, it's dry, there is not much life in it, but it's bubbling with life. That peace of existence is also bubbling with life. We just have to really relax into that, really let go into that. I had a friend, and he had always a bit of problem because sometimes he wanted to do more that peaceful meditation type, peaceful sadhana, and sometimes he wanted to do more that Shakti practice. And that was always a conflict in his mind. When he was doing the one, he was having a conflict that he was not doing the other. When he was doing the other, he was having a conflict for not doing one. And he always kept on separating them. I kept on telling him, hey, they are one. Don't make that separation and you don't have your problem. But somehow he didn't get that straight. So it remained a problem. Then either a period of Shakti, then a period of peace, and always a bit worried something is missing. The two come together. They are not two things. They are two aspects of that same mystery of life. Shiva and Shakti are one all the time.
But sometimes I lost it. I'm like frozen
Mm,
only in Shiva, and I don't know what to do with
mm,
this.
right.
How to find the Shakti energy in me
Mm,
to be alive. I don't understand what to do because I don't want anything when I'm Shiva.
right.
So what to do?
And how do you come to that state? This happens by itself, or you do like inquiry? Do you any particular meditation for that?
Yeah, I sit quiet
Mhm.
alone.
So I recommend that you try with that sitting quiet. You also include the awareness of your breathing. That you become aware, it doesn't disturb you, that you are aware of your breath. Automatically, the life force is connected on all the levels with the breath. It's not simply sucking air in the lungs and pushing it out again, but it's a manifestation, an easy, detectable manifestation of that life force that keeps everybody alive, that moves everything. And then if you sit quietly, but include the awareness of the breath, then automatically you include also the Shakti aspect. And it may happen less that you feel somehow that you are stranded on the Shakti-less Shiva, Shakti-less Shiva state. You just keep on consciously breathing along with that peace. Don't disturb your peace because of it, but don't think, oh, it's disturbing. then I'm not getting the peace. You can be totally at peace, being aware of the breath, and through the breath, more and more, you're aware of the flow of the life force, of the flow of prana, of the flow of energy, which is never, ever absent. We simply may not be aware of it. Try with including the breath and see whether you still feel like this. Okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Try and see. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Hare.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome to do so. No.
Hello.
Hello, Ilona, Ritis.
Question would be about you always say bring attention back to your essence.
Yes.
And in my opinion, it's a very tricky statement or advice because I'm saying that. Why I'm saying that? Because most of us spiritual seekers, what we want to what like final destination is to find our essence, to find out who am I, like in Ramanas. So who am I? I'm that essence. Vedanta has very good description about that, but never mind. If I don't know what that essence is, where it is, like Vedanta says, it's everywhere. Of course, it has some yeah. Anyway, how can I bring that attention back to the thing I don't know?
Yes, that's a valid question. How can I bring the attention back to something which I don't know? But you do know. You cannot possibly say that you don't know. There is that sense of presence that you are so totally familiar with. That sense of presence that has been with you all your life long. That sense of presence that has not changed, no matter how much you have changed, no matter how much the situation has changed, no matter how much the body changes, the mind changes, the relationships change. Everything is always changing, but when you say I, immediately, your attention is touching something so totally familiar. Something you cannot say, I don't know, but you don't know it like you know anything else because you cannot define. Usually we say, I know something when I can define it. But you cannot define it, but you cannot say that you don't know that because it's the most intimate. It's that which you are touching. When you say I, immediately you're aware of something that has been with you all your life, no matter what else has gone on, no matter what has changed, that something that is so totally familiar, but we are overlooking it all the time. You know it by being. You need not find the definition in Vedanta or anywhere, because, okay, they give a lot of explanations what essence is, but those explanations, they are not really definitions, they are simply pointers to that simple awareness of being conscious, of being alive, here, now. You cannot possibly tell me you don't know it because you have been with that all the time. It's that the first. Without that, there is no experience. And if you just say, I, without the thought, without I'm like this, I'm like that, just I, immediately, there is that something so totally familiar, what I usually call the sense of presence, that you cannot deny of knowing because you are that. Even if we are most of the time totally overlooking it, still, we know, I am, yes, of course, I am. I cannot ask, am I? It's a stupid question because I have to be there to ask to ask the question, am I? The question doesn't make sense. We can ask, who am I? What am I? Because in our mind we have all our explanations, all our self-images, all the different stories that we are attaching to it. But if we are simply coming back to that which you are touching, when you say I, without thinking about it, just I, there is something so simple. We cannot understand, we cannot define, and yet we cannot say possibly, I don't know it because you are that. Come back to that sense of presence as good as you can. Don't try to define it and then think, now I know it. If I start to define it and think, now I understood, then I have already made again a new drawer that I put into my Almira, and then I have that definition. And I try to construct something. But prior to anything, prior to every experience, at the base of every experience, during every experience, that there is that awareness of being here now, alive. You cannot possibly question that. You don't have bring the attention back to that essence doesn't mean you have to understand the essence. You are the essence. Just come back to that feeling, to that sense of being present. That most familiar sense of being present, being alive, being conscious. How you are doing it doesn't matter. You can use self-inquiry, the question, who am I? Not getting into an intellectual debate, brood about it, think about it, simply ask the question. You can simply stay with I am. You can simply be with your breath. Breathe in, breathe out, relax. And you are touching that sense of presence. You can open your heart, feel that divine presence. The divine presence is that same sense of presence that the one is touching who is saying, I am. You don't understand it. That's why you said, I don't know it. How can I connect with something that I don't know? But it's not true that you don't know it. It's simply you don't know it by deduction, by intellectual work, but you know it by being. It's so totally familiar, we cannot possibly not know it. We simply overlook it and cover it up and put all kinds of images on top. But everybody is aware. I am. We have gotten used to overlook it. Growing up in a world where we are taught to be busy all the time, taught that we have to achieve something, taught that happiness means to accumulate things, taught how we should be and how we should not be. And so then the attention goes always to that all those stories. And once it's established and somebody doesn't stop and look back to the source, then the attention is caught up with that all the time. From the moment one wakes up till one goes to sleep, it just goes round and round and round. My story, me, I, me, mine, me and the others, how I'm relating to that, thinking, questioning, or putting everything into our drawers of understanding. But throughout all this, there is that sense of being here, now, timelessly, the first, the most familiar, that which makes every experience possible. I'm not starting to define it, it's like this or it's like that. Even the subtlest definitions, they are just pointers. And then people read them and think they understood. And that's a mistake because you cannot understand. You are that. Understanding is in manifestation, but that is the source of the manifestation prior to understanding.
I feel what you say. It's very beautiful and very beautiful, deep experience. But for me, it looks like it still is experience. And what I got from Vedanta, sorry, coming up about, again, because I'm fan of Vedanta, that that who am I is so it's so close that you cannot experience it. The main thing is that you cannot experience what you are. Whatever you experience or whatever you feel, it's not who am I. So for me, that's very clear. I cannot imagine why teachers don't use this explanation, because then it's somehow it's so much of this nesusipratimas pas mus. misunderstanding falls away.
Mm.
I don't deny what you say. It's because then I can connect with your experience. It's very deep and yeah, it's connecting with teacher and all of your but it's just a little bit misleading.
To say that it is not an experience is also misleading. It's
Yeah,
not,
why?
it's because it's not simply an experience, but it's there that makes every experience possible. It's both an experience and it's prior to experience. You can,
Okay, you're right. It's everything.
right.
Yes.
And of course, if you do what I just have been talking about, then it's there for a moment. It's an experience. It goes, it comes, it goes. But there's nothing wrong with that experience. Through in that experience, there uh, shines more true what really is prior to the experience.
Mhm.
We don't have to uh, run after experiences and think that our spiritual progress is to have more and more some kind of spiritual experiences. But that experience of really bringing your attention to the present and relax and be in that awareness of being conscious, being alive, that is purifying, that is removing all those layers that we have created. And there is something that is prior to that. I agree. But there's absolutely nothing you can possibly say about it.
Hmm.
What we can do is to bring the attention back to that first expression of that. And that is pure consciousness. It's also pure love and pure energy. But pure consciousness is not that essence, it's already an expression of it. But that's all we can do, bring the attention back to that pure consciousness. And then, if we are in that, something else might happen, not anticipated, something you cannot possibly do. But in that pure consciousness that shines through. The more our consciousness is agitated, the less of that is obvious. It's still there. There's something prior to consciousness, and there's nothing to tell about. And you cannot make an attempt to bring the attention back to that. But what we can do is make ourselves available, and we make ourselves available by bringing the attention back to that base, to that first expression of that mystery of existence, which is the pure consciousness. There's nothing you can possibly do to bring the attention to that which is prior to that. But what we can do is come to that first expression. Actually, in a way, that's what Christianity means, that you have to go through the Son and you come to the Father. The Son is not one man who has been living there 2000 years ago, but that pure consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that Krishna consciousness. We can come back to that. And through that, something that is not an act of will that you cannot do, that may happen. If we make ourselves available to become aware, there is that divinity prior to that. So when I say come back to the essence, then basically I mean come back to that sense of presence, that pure consciousness, that pure love, that pure energy. That's all we can do. And in that way, we are presenting ourselves and something may happen beyond that. But that's not something you possibly can do with any technique, with any philosophy, with any understanding, with any mechanism. But we can make ourselves available by not being always absorbed in our mind, in our stories, and putting layers and layers and layers on top, but learn to remove those layers, that purity of existence simply starts to shine through.
So basically, we can say, stop thinking.
Well, if you can stop thinking, stop thinking. Right.
But
But
it
if,
doesn't have,
but,
it doesn't last long.
right, if then out of habit, we are just starting to think again. And what inspires us to continue thinking, immediately we start to get interested in what we are thinking. And then if you catch yourself, then tell yourself, come on, it's not interesting. Come back home prior to the thought. But you don't have to try to control your thoughts. Because if you do that with will, you may do that for some time, but the moment you let go of that willpower, boom, it comes rushing back and is making up for all the thoughts that you pushed away. So simply let the thoughts come and go, but redirect the attention from the thoughts instead of getting interested to that simple sense of presence, that immediate awareness of being alive. And if you do that again and again and again, sometimes it simply happens. You didn't even try. You simply are. And there are no thoughts, and everything is perfectly fine and at peace and at ease. And then the mind may start again, out of habit. And there we are back to our reminding ourselves, okay, come back to the source. And then sometimes we need thoughts. We have to do chores. We have to do things. We have to communicate with people. But more and more you can do that and be aware. But there is always that aspect that is not affected, that base, that pure consciousness. And make that into your base, into your ground, even when you're active. But it's helpful if we have every day some time where we are not doing anything else, where we are just putting our undivided attention to that as good as we can. On top of that, on the mental level, we are connected with whole humanity. We are anyhow connected with everything, but energetically, mentally, as long as you appear as a human being, then you are also connected with, especially connected with the total human consciousness, with the, yes, the sum of all the minds. And it's a formidable thing, and it's very agitated. It has the tendency to pull us into that agitation. So even if you are thoughtless, then that pull is there to start thinking again, because we are somehow connected with that, and that creates that pull. But the more you become familiar with just being without thinking, the less power has that. And then when you catch yourself, oh, I have been thinking again already for a few minutes continuously instead of just being, then don't make a fuss about it. Don't scold yourself, simply somehow, okay, got me, bring your attention back home and relax. Let's go, relax. In a playful mode, not in a stern, heavy duty mode.
It also depends very much on the place. For example, for me, if I'm in high energy place or in the Ramanashram in your Satsang, is that so-called connection with the pure consciousness is much easier and stronger, and for me it's uncontrollable. Somehow it's magic. When it happens, I don't find any how to say what to do and how to do. Sometimes it happens, sometimes not. But sometimes it's without any effort, and it's just like rising of or descending of white stuff or some energy. I
Yeah.
call it milky substance for me always. I was in the milk, and that's most malonous, most pleasant experience.
Right. But exactly as you say, you cannot do that. But what you can do is make yourself available. And so in those times when this is not spontaneously happening by itself, there you can turn your attention back to the source as good as you can. And if you find places that make it easier, then of course, fine. That spend your time in such places where it helps. But you can for most of the people, it's not possible to always stay in that place, in that environment. So do it as good as you can, no matter where you are, also when you are in the railway station. And also when you are walking through a crowd on the road and there's a lot of agitation, that you remember, just bring the attention back to that sense of presence as good as you can and relax. Because you have been practicing that, then sometimes it happens effortlessly that the milk is milk is coming. But then you cannot say, because that happens sometimes effortlessly, those times it's not there. Don't make it's not a strenuous effort, just that little reminder. Come on, redirect the attention, come back to the source and relax. Shall we leave it at that?
Can I ask, following when you say relax? So when I bring the attention back, this to the eye, and is this sense of something, then there is a tendency to grab it and keep it.
Yes.
So when you say relax, does it means that we should learn not to try to grab it,
Right.
and somehow?
How can you grab that which you already are?
Yes, but it's
if I want to grab it, then it's again me, the person who wants
yes.
to keep that state,
Yes.
that experience.
So when you say relax, does it mean that we should learn not to try to somehow involve in that, say, feeling or understanding because immediately mind generates some thoughts, how it looks like, what it is, and oh, I reached it, or something like that, and it's a silent attention trying to sustain it.
Yes.
To prolong it.
Right. And that very attempt to prolong it will yank you out of it.
Yes.
Yes. Because that one who enjoys the experience, that is still the me personality who is happy that, oh, there is a nice experience, so I want to grab it. I don't want to hold it. But there we are simply holding on to the reflection of it, not to that which is. And then trying to grab the reflection is in vain because you can't hold it. It's changing all the time. So you're right. When you become aware that the mind starts to immediately analyze, categorize, and wondering how can I keep it, then you treat those thoughts like you treat any other thought. It's just a thought. But come back to that which is prior to the thought, to that sense of presence. You need not hold it. You need not grab it because it's never absent. What we want to grab is the experience that I feel good for the moment because it's clearer. And then I want to grab it. And there I'm again already turning away from the source. So when you become aware of that, then you see it and you just redirect the attention to simply being as good as you can. The very thought, I got it, is already basically should be then the warning lamp. Hey, there I'm going again. There I'm already again out when I think I got it.
And when you say relax, is it some conscious action of this relaxation? Because sometimes it's confusing for me. Come back, that's is this feeling, and then next step is relax, that it's needed to do something. How to relax. So then it's get out of that.
Yeah.
Is relaxation referring to the body?
It includes the body, but it's more than that. But if you feel at ease, at peace, then instead of thinking what can I do to keep it, you can just give the impulse, relax. But if you don't like that so much, you can give the impulse to let go, to really let go in it. And it can be very helpful that you feel first the body and relax the body more.
So you mean that this relax or let go into it, not out?
Not
Something
out of it, but
I mean not out of it, but usual relaxation when we relax the body, it's felt like I relaxing the muscles.
Yeah.
Or if I relax the mind, I get rid of all thoughts. So it's something that I get out of the system. But you, what I understand, you mean that we relax or think, just get into that.
Right.
That means relaxation. Inside, outside, in. So
yes, right. Not that there is something that you have to get rid of.
Yes. Now
if
it's
you
clear.
have to get rid of something, is the thought, what can I do to keep it?
Yeah.
But you just let go. And
Okay.
then you may feel the body and feel how the body is relaxing. You may feel the energies, you feel how the energies are relaxing. And if the body and the energies relax, then emotionally, mentally, intellectually, it's relaxing also by itself, letting go. And through that, just letting go, letting go, letting go, it's like your attention, your experience becomes more profound. Yes, you're right. You're relaxing into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now it's clear.
Very good. Okay, shall we leave it at that?
Yes, yes. Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Oh, I see the time has advanced more than I thought. Of course, whatever I'm saying is a way of putting things in words. Of course, whatever any teacher says is a way to talk about something that cannot really be talked about. That is the tricky thing. Then why teaching? Why talking? If we hear a teaching directly from somebody, or we read a teaching and we feel a resonance, it's good to remember that the words are not the truth. The words are just pointers to something that cannot be put in words. But if we can open the heart to the space where the words are coming from, then the teaching can be helpful. If we read something like Conversations with Ramana Maharshi, I mean, they are simple. They're not difficult to understand on the level of understanding. But if we are opening the heart and just open to where the space, where the teaching is coming from, then it makes sense to talk. It makes sense to read teachings, to hear teachings. But it's good to remember no teaching is defining reality. All we can is point. And the words always fall short of what really is, but the words are useful to catch the attention, to give the direction, and then there is just that. There is just that beingness, that sense of presence, that silence. And even those words are falling short of what really is. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.